Good morning. This is Carrie Van Dale, CEO and President of Van Dale and Associates, and Ronnie Franklin, my associate, and I plan to have a conversation with you about dealing with difficult people. I know that it's very frustrating to deal with difficult people, especially chronic difficult people. There are coping techniques, and I hope that you will take away one, two, or all of the techniques to make your life a little bit easier today. Thank you very much.
Okay, Carrie. The title of your article is You Do Not Fire a Difficult Person. In your article, you state you fire probable employees, but not difficult people. What is the difference between a problem employee and a difficult person?
A problem employee is one who repeatedly violates departmental disciplinary lines of action and one who frequently disturbs other personnel. A difficult person is always a difficult, or a problem employee is always a difficult person. A difficult person is not always a problem employee. In other words, a difficult person may not violate departmental disciplinary lines of action or disturb other personnel frequently. A difficult person may be one with a hostile, aggressive personality or a know-it-all, as an example.
Okay, I'm going to get personal.
Okay.
Have you ever been a difficult person at work?
Never, of course. Not only have I been a difficult person at work, I have also been a difficult person in my own home life. And I kind of chuckle when I think about my profession in training and development, especially when I teach this course, because I'm always pointing the finger at myself. So yes, I have been a difficult person. There are two types of difficult people, and one is temporary and the other is chronic. I have been a temporary difficult person where I have been able to catch myself and have had to apologize many times. A chronic difficult person does not apologize.
You list some difficult behaviors in your article, such as hostile aggressive, complainer, silent unresponsive, super agreeable, negativist, know-it-all expert, and indecisive. Can you briefly explain or maybe give an example of each of those behaviors?
Sure. May I look at your notes, Ronnie, to make sure that I go through these difficult behaviors? Yep. Okay, the hostile, aggressive, and you're asking for me to give you an example of
each of these behaviors.
Okay, a hostile, aggressive person is like a Sherman tank. You don't know what will trigger him or her. It could be a simple good morning or hey, wow, it's cold outside today, and the hostile aggressive might respond by saying, what's so good about this morning? I don't like cold weather. And it's uncomfortable to have dialogue with that kind of person. The silent unresponsive person is usually a very nice person, but is one who is a little insecure. Like an indecisive person is one who is insecure because both types of people are afraid to fail you. They're afraid to disappoint you, so it's easier to go inside of themselves than to risk failing. The super agreeable is very much similar to an indecisive, a silent, unresponsive person. They agree with you. For example, if you say to them, hey, Ronnie, I'd like you to get this report done by next Tuesday. The super agreeable would say, I'll have it done for you by this afternoon. And that person's normally a really nice person. And so what you have to do is make that person feel comfortable and make it easy for that person to be a realist. So you say, Ronnie, I appreciate you wanting to work ahead of time, but next Tuesday will work out just fine. The negativist, oh, I don't like the color of the wall. The carpet doesn't work. My office is dark. Blah, blah, blah. Has that dark cloud over his head or her head. And what you have to really prevent is being drawn into that person's negativity. So if that person says, I don't like the carpet, your response might be, well, it wouldn't be my favorite color either, but it's comfortable. The know-it-all expert is really a know-it-all expert, highly intelligent. And one thing that you have to remember if you have dialogue with the know-it-all expert is to not be opinionated, but to provide facts and figures for her to see.
Thank you. To wrap this up, the final question is, what advice would you give to people on how to approach, and you kind of gave a brief response with a few of these behaviors, but how to approach, and maybe let's just keep it an approach to these type of people, the difficult people at work.
Okay, two things. The first is for you personally to identify your behavior by asking yourself if you have triggered this person's difficult response. That doesn't give that other person an excuse to be difficult, but your emotional quotient might have triggered this person. There are 4 options to dealing with difficult behavior. You can leave it, you can live with it, you can try to change another person, or you can change yourself. The most effective option is to change yourself, which means that you have to be able to assess the situation. Are you dealing with a chronic difficult person whom you will never be able to change? Or are you dealing with a temporary situational difficult person where you might be able to say, hey, Ronnie, are you having a bad day? Is there anything I can help you with? I just sense some curtness in your tone of voice and I don't understand it. And a situational, temporary, difficult person like Ronnie would say, no, I'm sorry, I'm just have this on my mind, and if I made you feel poorly, I'm sorry about that. Oh, no problem. And then with simple dialogue, you come around. So have a plan to deal with this, with your difficult person. And the next comment I'm going to make is really juxtaposed to being politically correct, but I'll say it anyway. You've got to label this difficult person by either saying that he or she is a Sherman tank, a super noble or super agreeable person, a sniper, an exploder, a bulldozer, a complainer. You have to label this person in order to know what techniques to use with him or her, what coping techniques to use with him or her. So that is, I'll wrap it up by saying, do not leave the situation, do not try to change the other person, change yourself, label this other person in order to know coping techniques.
Great. Thank you. And thank you to our listeners. Please subscribe to our channel. Have a wonderful day and God bless.